Good evening. As we continue into Holy Week, we turn our attention from the celebration of Palm Sunday to a sobering and revealing moment. The same king who is welcomed with praise now enters the temple, and instead of receiving worship, he confronts corruption. Before we read the text, we need to understand what we're about to see. Not a gentle scene, but a holy one. Jesus walks into the very place meant for prayer, and he finds it filled with distraction, exploitation, and empty religion. And he does not ignore it. He overturns tables. He drives people out. He declares that God's house has been turned into a den of robbers. This is not uncontrolled anger. This is righteous authority. The king has come and he is setting things right. But this moment is not just about them, it's about us. The temple points beyond itself and forces us to ask, what does Christ find when he looks at our worship, at our hearts? Are we offering him reverence or have we allowed distraction and compromise to take root? And yet, even here, there is grace. The king who cleanses is also the king who restores. He drives out what is false so that what is true may remain. He purifies so that real worship can flourish. So, as we read this passage, don't stand at a distance. Let it search you, let it confront you, and most of all, see Christ clearly, the Holy King who has the authority to cleanse and the mercy to restore. Now let's hear the word of the Lord. It's like this, Matthew 21, verses 12 through 13. And Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who sold and bought in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. He said to them, "It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers." It's the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. As I said, Holy Week does not slow down after the celebration of Palm Sunday, it intensifies. The same king who was welcomed with shouts of Hosanna now enters the temple, and what he does there forces us to see him more clearly. If Palm Sunday reveals the king publicly, Monday reveals the king personally. He does not merely come to be praised, but he actually comes to purify. So as Jesus enters the temple courts, the scene is striking. What should have been a place of prayer has become a place of profit. Money changers sit at their tables, merchants sit in the court and fill the courts. The house of God has been turned into something ordinary, something transactional, something hollow. And Jesus responds with holy authority. He overturns the tables. He drives them out. He declares, "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers." This is not a loss of control. This is not impulsive anger. This is righteous judgment. The king has come, and he will not tolerate the corruption of worship. He will not allow what is holy to be treaded or treated as common. The temple, which was meant to be the place where God meets with his people, had been distorted, and Christ, as king, here sets it right. But we must see beyond the surface of this moment. This is not merely about a building in Jerusalem. This is about the heart of worship itself. The temple pointed to something greater. It pointed to the presence of God among his people, and now the true temple stands in their midst. Jesus Christ himself is the meeting place between God and man. And as he cleanses the temple, he is also revealing his authority to cleanse something even deeper, the human heart. And this is where the weight of the passage presses in on us. It is easy to look at all the money and all the money exchangers and see their error. It is hard to look inward, though. How often do we treat worship casually? How often do we approach God with divided hearts, with distracted minds? How often do we have self centered motives? The problem is the temple is not confined to history, it is a mirror held up to us today. And yet, there is hope even in this confrontation. The same king who cleanses us is the king who restores us. He does not purify in order to destroy, he purifies in order to redeem. Later in the same passage, we are told that the blind and the lame come to him in the temple, and he heals them. That is who he is. He drives out what is false, and he welcomes those who are broken. And he removes corruption, and he restores worship. This is the king we follow during Holy Week. Not a passive figure, not a distant ruler, but a present, active, holy king who confronts sin and restores his people. He is preparing the way for the cross. He is moving intentionally toward the moment where the true cleansing will take place, not in the temple courts, but at Calvary. Because ultimately, the cleansing of tables points to the cleansing of souls. The judgment that falls on corruption in the temple anticipates the judgment that Christ himself will bear on the cross. He will take upon himself the impurity of his people. He will endure the wrath that sin deserves, and through his sacrifice, he will make a way for true, lasting, undefiled worship. So the question for us on this Monday of Holy Week is simple, but searching. What needs to be overturned in our lives? What tables has Christ come to confront? What areas of compromise, distraction, or hollow worship must be driven out? We must do it. This is the question that confronts us this week. So do not resist him. This is not the harshness of sin of an unkind ruler. This is the loving authority of a holy king. He cleanses because he cares. He purifies because he deserves and desires true worshipers, those who worship in spirit and in truth. And as he cleanses, he invites. So come to him. Lay down the pretense. Turn from sin. Let him restore what has been distorted, and let him reorient your life and your heart toward God. The king who entered Jerusalem is the king who enters the temple, and he is the king who is able to cleanse you. Soli Deo Gloria.